Hey, hey there. Welcome to the garden. We're going to be talking about essential oils and gardening today. It's a beautiful day to be in the garden. You can use essential oils in your garden in numerous different ways, as far from using it actually inside of your garden or actually on yourself whilst being in the garden or after gardening. The ways are numerous, but I'm going to tell you about a few of my favorite ones today and the ones that I've been putting to use the most. So the first thing I want to tell you about is a little story about ants. So last year I had a really big problem with the ants in my greenhouse, and I have a cucumber box in there, and the ants just moved into the cucumber box and I could not get rid of them for so long. Basically the whole summer I spent fighting these ants using, these really expensive spray slash supposed to be some type of a little worm thing to eat them, that they're supposed to be all natural from the garden center. And I tried all the ways I could think of, all the things I found on Pinterest, and then finally at the very end of the season I tried something that just came to me intuitively, and I plugged an extension cord in from my house to the greenhouse, and I put my diffuser, this was before the beautiful cordless diffusers, I diffused peppermint in my greenhouse for like 2 days straight, and the ants legit moved out. They were just gone one day. They were absolutely gone. Their babies were gone. Nothing was left in that cucumber box. So that was my first big oil win in the garden with my essential oils. Let's talk about seasonal friends. So I personally hate conventional bug spray. I have sensitive skin. I can't handle it. I'm not putting it on my kids. So to have some type of alternative, honestly, what else would I do now? I'm 100% against that kind of bug spray. I think it's poisonous. Oh, but this type of stuff, not only does it support you in those types of situations, but it smells so amazing too. This is called TerraShield. Now it's an oil blend. I believe there's Nootka in here, and I believe there's ylang ylang, catnip, what was it? A couple other ones, Litsea, lemon eucalyptus. Anyway, it smells divine. So anyway, enough sniffing of that. TerraShield is known as the Repellent blend. It's the type of oil that you can safely put right onto your skin using a carrier oil before going out into the forest or out on a hike or out into the garden. But a lovely thing that I use it for, that I love it for, is putting it into the diffuser. So having either access to power or a portable diffuser is so cool to be able to bring it out to the garden. Now, there's more reasons than just repelling bugs for your own sake. There's more than just that. There's actually studies that show, now get this is something new that I learned. There's actually studies that show that oils, sweet smelling oils like lavender, like basil, rosemary, helichrysum, these oils can actually, when diffused, help promote the health of your garden. So I read things that suggested, making a little passive diffuser and setting it right in the garden, like a bowl of water, and just adding a couple drops of some of these oils, or like a little cloth that you could drip oils on it. Something like that would be a good option for a passive diffuser if you don't have access to actually bring a diffuser out and set it in your garden. So that's two great uses that, if you can, you might want to consider starting to diffuse while you're outside in your garden, not only for your own benefits, but for your benefits of your plants as well. Okay, so a couple other cool things about TerraShield. You can also just get it right in a spray, and it's like the easiest thing to bring with you on the go. It's lovely to smell, and it's safe to use on your babies. I carry a little bottle of this in my purse and in my camera bag, so that in the summertime when I'm out taking photos for families, especially with kids, I have this handy and I can say, here, let's put it on, and I don't have to worry about, you know, the alternative, the conventional alternative, right? So I love that. Now, specifically speaking for watering and taking care of your plants, where's my little watering can? You can actually nourish your plants the same way that you nourish yourself by ingesting our oils, putting oils in our water. So we can put oils in the water of our plants too. So I recently found out from another oiler that DDR Prime is actually a great oil, a great blend to put in your water. The one that I had been mainly using so far was geranium, and getting really great results out of it. Okay, so I've got my DDR Prime in here. I can fill this up with water and then I can go water my plants with it. It's a great, it's a great addition to your garden as far as feeding your plants the things that they need. The really cool thing about plants and about essential oils is that they're one and the same. So they work really, really well together. So the same way as different plants that we source essential oils from, when they're in the wilds, they have these ways of communicating with one another. They have these ways of triggering different responses, like triggering different productions of different pheromones and smells and stuff, so that they can be pollinated and so that they can deter their own pests. So that's why these oils give us all these very different benefits and uses, is because of that beautiful synchronicity. Isn't that neat? Isn't that neat? Nature sure is neat. Okay, moving on. So we can use our essential oils to deter more than just bugs in the garden as well. I didn't bring it out, but rosemary. Rosemary is another one that if you have cats in your neighborhood, or if you own cats, or any kind of animals that are in there, getting in there, digging and stuff, put some rosemary in your garden. So I suggest like dripping it along the corners of your garden, and this is going to help deter a cat from going in there and using your garden as a litter box. So rosemary in the dirt. It's also got added benefits for the plants itself too. So that's just like a bonus, right? So have you ever heard of companion planting? Companion planting is the idea that you can plant certain plants next to one another and they will be beneficial to one another because of their certain plant properties. So we can think about using our oils with different types of plants in our garden in the same way. So for instance, you might use with your tomatoes. Tomato and basil are really awesome side by side. So you might try putting a drop of basil in your water before watering your tomatoes. Side note, crushed up eggshells with your tomatoes I know is really good as well. What I do is I like put all my eggs in a Ziploc bag and then I store them under my sink. And then when I have enough, I put them in the blender and then I just store them in a little yogurt container. So I have very unique skin and I burn really easily. And something that I'm really looking forward to trying this year, because I just learned this in continuing education, that we can use deep blue as a source of relief after we get a sunburn. Very prone to sunburns. And deep blue has the most lovely, amazing cooling effect on your skin. My hands are so dirty, but it's just so nice. And it smells so good. Oh, it's like if you like the smell of certs. I don't know if you ever had certs as a kid, but that's what it reminds me of. But in like the best way possible. So other ways that I have already been using deep blue when we're talking about in the garden is for supporting my soreness after a day in the garden. So deep blue, not only is it helping to relieve the pain, but it's not like it's just masking the pain. It's actually helping to heal your body, heal your cells. It's cellular renewal. So not only is it pain relieving, but it's actually helping to heal the problem at its root. So that's sweet. Another cool thing that I personally don't have to deal with, but I guess I kind of do because my husband, my sweet husband, has the worst allergies in the world, or he used to. I actually don't even feel like I can say that anymore ever since we started using these. But prior to doTERRA, he would spend like the whole spring and like into the summer just sneezing and like just the worst like streaks of sneeze. It wasn't like a sneeze now and then, it would be like 20 sneezes in a row, and he'd be so congested and his eyes are red and just awful, just awful. And so when we started using doTERRA that spring, we were like, okay, well, we got these really cool new things that we have to give this a try. Let's see if this works. And we were blown away, absolutely blown away at the difference. So what his protocol was, and still to this day is he starts taking the Tri-Ease, and you don't actually necessarily have to buy Tri-Ease. You can make your own very simply using the veggie caps. We do that if we run out, you know? And so you can just put a couple drops of lavender, a couple drops of peppermint, and a couple drops of lemon inside that veggie cap. That's essentially what these soft gels are. And so we started that protocol before this actual stuffy season hit. So we would maybe start like a month in advance, or at least that's what we did this year. We might not have done that the very first year, but that's what we find is working the best, is actually getting it into a system leading up to that season. And so he went from basically taking an antihistamine over-the-counter medication, like on the daily, every single morning, that's how he would start his day with one of those, to he maybe took them 2, maybe 3 times throughout the entire summer. So that was a huge, huge win for us. Oh, one other thing I definitely want to mention is that citrus oils, so like citrus bloom, lemon, orange, like all the citrus oils, they are photosensitive, which means that if you put them on your skin and then go out into the sun, you have a high chance that you'll get a bit of a skin irritation, like a burn. So if you're putting citrus oils on your skin, try to opt to do it in the evening, like if you're having an evening bath or if you're like lotioning up at the end of the night. Just being aware that the citrus oils are often a very uplifting scent. So just make sure to pair it with something like lavender, right? But something to keep in mind. So, you know, oftentimes we will, you know, use a citrus oil or some type of a blend that has a citrus oil in it, and then we'll, you know, take the excess and we'll rub it on our chest and rub it on our neck or rub it on our arms. If you're going to be doing that, just make sure that it's either not before you go out into the sun or at the end of the day. So just something to be aware of. I often forget about it, and to be truthfully honest, I've never actually experienced the photosensitivity, but I'm not going to say that it won't happen. So maybe I've just been very safe. Maybe I've been doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I want to mention too, a great way to like make an actual like bug repellent spray would be to put it in something like this, using like a glass spray bottle or stainless steel kind of thing, just because the oils, you know, oftentimes have they break down petrochemicals. So if you're using any type of like plastic container, there's a good chance that it will break down or warp the plastic. So just be aware of that. And some other good pest repelling essential oils, cedarwood, peppermint, cinnamon, thyme, geranium, lemongrass, arbor vitae, clove, and did I say peppermint? Peppermint. Those are just some. That's definitely just like a short list. There's probably a million I missed, but those are some of the ones that we have been experimenting with and utilizing, and I'm so excited to start blending up magical little watering cans full of all my little seedlings that are starting to grow. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you learned some nifty tips and tricks to use essential oils in your garden. If you have any more questions, feel free to reach out to me. Feel free to reach out to me if you'd like to talk about getting some oils into your own gardening hands, and we will go from there. Okay, take care, you guys.